without any memorable content. I'm Jeffrey Lyons.
Do not see this show. If you have not read David Copperfield, do not see this show. For those who know the novel will be aghast by what this musical does to it, and those who do know the novel will never understand why it is considered a great work. Charles Dickens, in his book, gave a harrowing description of the horrors of child labor in England in the mid-19th century. This musical turns the story into a comic strip. Dickens' rich detail of child abuse is trivialized. Almost every character is a cartoon figure. Uriah Heep, one of the sneaky arch-villains of literature, is here a flame-haired, funny paper klutz who slams the door of a safe on his own hand. With his other hand, he then twirls the combination, reopens the safe, removes his injured hand, and then yells, "Ow!" This is what they have done to Charles Dickens. Uriah's mother, by the way, calls her son Uri, which is not only foreign to the source, but manages the neat trick of making David Copperfield sound like the story of a Soviet cosmonaut. All of this comes with hammy overacting, horrible English accents, and music and lyrics so lame that by the second act, most of the audience seemed to be in a coma. I think even some... Forgive me if I sound like a broken record, but Copperfield is the latest disaster in a Broadway season that might be the worst in my memory. On another glamorous night on the town, this is Stuart Klein.
Englishman's Novels is a musical. It is Copperfield, and Dennis Cunningham has this opening night review.
Alan, thank you. You know, taking on Charles Dickens' complex, convoluted, and epic saga, David Copperfield, as a musical comedy is no small task, especially when the music and the lyrics are merely serviceable and the comic moments few and far between. And yet, here is a fine example of Broadway know-how and expertise, and finally, a most pleasurable, colorful sampler of family fun. It is a triumph over its own inadequacies, is this wildly telescoped tale of a star-crossed 19th century writer of London. Oh, you may very well notice the shortcomings, but splendid lighting, costume sets, character actors, dancing and direction serve to whisk the evening along in slick and ebullient fashion. No, it is not My Fair Lady, Oliver, or Mary Poppins, though there are strong echoes of all those shows in Copperfield, but Copperfield is finally fun. What more could you ask? Michelle?
Okay, thank you. Broadway and Charles Dickens. The duo worked in Oliver, now it's being tried again in Copperfield. Dickens... Great expectations. Joel Siegel is here with a review. Joel?
Dickens of a review. In fact, there's a lady in England who swears the ghost of Mozart comes to her late at night and composes through her hands. She's recorded these compositions and they sound just like bad Mozart. Tonight, watching Copperfield, I was overcome with the eerie sensation that maybe that lady had come to Broadway, because tonight I heard the ghosts of show tunes past from Gypsy and Annie and Oliver. Bad Gypsy and Annie and Oliver. Something in the closing number left me humming California, Here I Come. Maybe it's because the writers write movie songs, but the guy behind me was humming it too. I kept waiting for someone to break in to Send in the Clones. At its best, and this is a good-looking, well-produced, well-polished Broadway show, Copperfield is an evening of almosts. Almost good tunes, almost catchy lyrics, dance numbers that almost take off. Gary Ingham's Uriah Heep and George S. Irving's Mr. Micawber deserve praise, Irving especially for taking on a role W.C. Fields made his trademark and making the role both his own and a delight. The show is filled with little mistakes. For example, Copperfield's wife is 100% ninny. When she dies, which of course she does, Dickens had to keep his stories going. He got paid by the word after all. Copperfield sings the show's best ballad, but the wife is such a ninny, we're not sad when she dies. The ballad is wasted, and so is much of the evening, except when Mr. Micawber and or Uriah Heep are on stage. Now that should have been noted early on. Why try to bite off all of Dickens, focus in on one character and call the show Micawber? In fact, the show would have worked better if they'd worked it around the other way and called it Heep.
Thank you, Joel. I'm Roseanne Scamardello, hoping tomorrow's...